All right, guys, today we have some very significant PlayStation news to go over and discuss, and it has to do with the entire scalping situation that's happening, not just with the PS5, but with the Xbox Series X and S as well. And it seems that it's becoming pretty serious, potentially anyway, as a new report has come out claiming that it is actually threatening the long term health of the console. Now, obviously, that's very concerning to anybody who cares about console gaming, and I care about it. I know many of you care about it, and this is a situation that is just seemingly not getting any better. It might be some time before it gets any better, but there is some good news about this as well outside of this report, and that is the fact that the UK government is apparently calling for action against scalpers. And on top of that, we have Walmart coming out and letting us know that they have actually successfully deterred 20 million bots from buying these consoles, which is very significant. So, yeah, I just wanted to take some time to go over this and let you guys know the situation and what's going on. So if you could do me a favor, if you do end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, make sure you leave it a like. Really helps it out. Subscribe if you're new and hit the bell notification icon as well so you can be notified immediately anytime a new video goes live. But it says here a new report by Bloomberg has found that Sony PS5 scalpers are potentially threatening the long-term health of the console. And this follows news that the UK government is looking to take action against these groups. Scalpers have been getting fat on profits made from reselling the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S since launch. As both systems have been difficult to get a hold of at traditional retailers, this has resulted in an unusually low software attach rate in Japan. This is what the report is claiming, which notes that a healthy ratio for a new system is roughly one game sold for each console bought. However, Famitsu sales data has revealed that Sony moved around 213,000 PS5 consoles during the first month of release, while software sales hit just 63,000 units. This means that punters have snapped up less than one title for every 3 PS5s sold. Bloomberg added that strong software sales are crucial during the start of a console's life cycle when the format holder is selling it at a loss. However, even the rise in digital sales are not entirely to blame for the lack of packaged titles sold. Ace Research Institute analyst Hideki Yasuda commented, "Even if we consider digital download software purchases, the percentage of sold PlayStation 5s actually in use is not that high, meaning the current demand is constrained by profit-taking resellers." Meanwhile, Morningstar Research's Kazunori Ito told Bloomberg the PlayStation 5 could miss a critical chance to get into a good hardware-software upward spiral. The peak of the platform will likely be low, and the platform's total revenue earned won't be as strong as we hoped for. So very significant news coming from Bloomberg here, this report, and it's something we do want to pay attention to, at least those of us, again, that do care about the health of this platform, because a lot of us do consider it important to us. We like PlayStation, we like the console, we want to see it succeed, and most importantly, we want to see it properly supported in really meaningful ways. And when we talk about how this is potentially threatening the long-term health of, say, the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, well, you have to understand that this data that we're talking about when it comes to software attach rate, this is possibly the most important thing. In fact, I think it's safe to say it is the most important thing to any game publisher. The console is nothing without software being sold on it. So when we see a console that comes out, if it's just not selling games, then the chances of developers and publishers heavily supporting it drops dramatically. And in this case, the PS5 is suffering not due to the fact that people don't want to buy games for it, it's that they can't. It's the fact that there are potentially millions upon millions of PlayStation 5s as well as Xbox Series consoles that are sitting in individuals' homes who are not going to obviously use them, certainly not buy games on them, but they're just going to resell them. And they're going to wait as long as they need to for those consoles to sell so they can make that profit. And so what's happening right now is Sony and Microsoft are suffering for this. And to be honest, this would explain why Sony and Microsoft are probably so cautious about going just next gen only. It would also explain why a lot of other developers and publishers are so cautious about just jumping, or diving in, I should say, headfirst into next gen only, because knowing that your software sales could potentially be half of what is actually on record, being sold when it comes to these consoles, this most likely explains why Sony is not revealing any sales data, because they want to reveal the sales data and say, look at how many PS5s we sold, look at how successful it is. And, if they say we sold X amount of millions of PS5s, that's not really going to mean much to really anybody, if not even Sony, if half of these consoles, or possibly even more than half of these consoles, are not actually in the hands of people who want to use them and buy games and actually, exist on the platform in a meaningful way. So, the idea that this is threatening the long-term health of the console, I think that's a little bit dramatic. I don't necessarily know that this is going to have long-term implications, simply because this is not going to remain a problem in the long term, regardless of how bad the scalping situation becomes between now and, say, sometime in 2021, whenever, Sony and Microsoft are able to really start pushing more units out there, and kind of saturate the market in a more significant way. This is having a short-term, effect. And what this ultimately translates to, like the bottom line for us as the gamers, the people who care about these consoles, who care about playing games on these consoles, the result we could see from this, we could see Sony and Microsoft, I think we're already seeing this, opting to actually make more of their games, cross-generational, because Sony can't really control this either. Like, they can only control it so much. This is really coming down to a situation where there needs to be like legal action taken. And so that's why we're going to talk in a minute here about what the UK government is planning to do about this, which is good news, because it means that they are paying attention, and it just goes to show how serious of a problem it's becoming for the market. But we have to understand that this is probably going to feed into the idea that we're going to see more cross-gen games. It's, this is normal every time we see a new generation, but especially now more than ever, because of how bad the scalping situation seems to be getting, we could see that kind of, dragged out a little bit longer than maybe we would expect, depending on how long this remains a problem. What it really comes down to is when exactly Sony and Microsoft are going to be able to saturate the market to where anybody who wants this console, one of these consoles, can just walk into a retail store or go online and buy one, no problem. When that day comes, then this problem simply goes away and everything goes back to normal. But right now, there's millions of people who want these consoles, who can actually afford to buy these consoles, but their only option is to get it at double or possibly triple the price from somebody who has no intention of actually using these consoles. Sony and Microsoft are currently sitting there seeing this happening and trying their best to manufacture as many more units as they can and saturate the market. And but before we end this video, I do want to, end it with some potentially good news here, which is, again, the UK government is planning on doing something about this. It says the UK government has called for action to be taken against the rising cases of UK PS5 and Xbox Series XS scalpers, who, as of early December, have made a reported $28 million in profit from reselling them on eBay. Monday saw a group of British MPs demanding legislation to block scalpers from reselling PS5 and Xbox Series X consoles for, quote, vast profits, unquote. Both consoles have fallen victim to scalpers after launch due to their increased demand and difficulty to get hold of, with groups where these groups basically have a field day of taking advantage of people who are excited to buy these consoles. Legislative proposals were called for in an early day motion on Monday, prohibiting the resale of gaming consoles and computer components at prices greatly above the manufacturer's recommended retail price. So far, the motion has been signed by 9 members of parliament and also calls for the government to make selling goods purchased suing automated bots an illegal activity. Or using automated bots, This method is often employed by scalpers to purchase high-demand goods and allows them to circumvent online queues. New releases of gaming consoles and computer components should be available to all customers at no more than the manufacturer's recommended retail price and not be bought in bulk by the use of automated bots, which often circumvent maximum purchase quantities imposed by the retailer. The motion goes on to say that eliminating bots would deny unscrupulous vendors the chance to make themselves vast profit at the expense of genuine gamers and computer users, while also deterring fraudulent cybercriminal activity. So I know that was a lot to take in, but what you need to know basically is that there is potentially going to be legal action taken. Now, this is just for the UK, but this is good because it may cause, other regions to start looking into this a little bit more, because it is having an effect on the bottom line of these manufacturers, of these, platform holders, of everybody involved, basically. So it's just not good. And it's just nice to know that they are, potentially actually going to do something about this, which is what a lot of people have been asking for. But I just want to let you guys know that Walmart has come out and let everybody know that over 20 million bots trying to buy a PS5 were actually blocked by them on November 25th specifically. So it does go to show that they are trying their best to, deter against this and fight against it. And, hopefully this situation is corrected sooner rather than later, and it won't take long. Unfortunately, it seems like the reality is we're just going to have to wait until sometime in 2021. I think that the longer this goes on, the longer it takes for Sony and Microsoft to just fully saturate the market, the more difficult it's going to be on developers and, publishers to decide on, like, do we fully support next gen, or is that a mistake? Because, half of our sales are just going to be not there because half of these consoles are not in the hands of people who actually want to buy games. That's the big problem here. So I just thought that this was interesting, and I wanted to take some time to talk about it and relay the information to you guys. Obviously, I will update you when we hear anything more about this, anything more of significance. But there it is. So be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Again, leave the video a like if you enjoyed it or found it informative. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.